Coming up next in News 7, they settled the Texaco discrimination case, but they still protest here in Washington tonight. We'll tell you why.
And we look to the future for those 20-something members of Generation X. What do they care about?
News 7 at 11 is next.
If we all settled for good enough, would things ever be good enough?
The luxurious Chrysler LHS. Now get a lease for just $359 a month. The Chrysler LHS. This goes way beyond good enough.
Well, now it's time to check in with Nightline. Ted Koppel previews tonight's program.
Tonight on Nightline, charges the CIA injected crack cocaine into the black neighborhoods of Los Angeles. The community confronts the director of the Central Intelligence Agency at an unprecedented town meeting. Crack in the CIA tonight.
That's Nightline after your local news. And that is 2020 for tonight. We thank you for joining us.
And remember, we're in touch, so you be in touch. By the way, next Friday, we'll have the first interview with legendary actor Kirk Douglas since his stroke 8 months ago. He is inspiring, believe it or not, wonderfully funny here. I'm Barbara Walters.
And I'm Hugh Downs.
And for all of us here at 2020, have a good weekend. Good night.
"2020 is a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Now, from WJLA TV, this is News 7 at 11.
A police officer is hit by a car during a chase. We'll have the latest on his condition.
And the district school system is taken over by the feds. Tonight, we have reaction. Good evening, I'm Kathleen Matthews.
I'm Paul Berry. Thanks for joining us. We begin with a protest and boycott of Texaco service stations tonight, despite a multi-million-dollar settlement of a discrimination lawsuit late today.
News 7's Madeline Woods is just back to our newsroom with the reaction. Madeline, tell us what they're doing.
Well, Paul and Kathleen, today's multi-million-dollar settlement comes just 11 days after a tape recording of Texaco's top executives using racial slurs went public. But tonight, some are not at all impressed with the $176 million settlement. They call it hush money used to keep the controversy from making headlines. The pressure on Texaco mounted dramatically this week when the Reverend Jesse Jackson called for an immediate boycott if a settlement was not reached by Saturday. The settlement came a day early, but for these protesters, it was still too little, too late.
Texaco, gotta go! What we say is that all Texaco gas stations that are in the black community must be owned and operated by blacks. That's what we consider to be true justice.
Here's the breakdown of the terms of the settlement. Texaco will pay $115 million in cash to the 1,500 black workers who sued the corporation. Another $26 million over 5 years will go toward pay increases for black employees. And the corporation will spend $35 million on diversity and racial sensitivity training programs.
It's rare that justice is done, and they're very, very satisfied that it's been done in this case.
Shortly after the news conference, the Reverend Jesse Jackson went on record to say that the fight wasn't over. He described Texaco's agreement as a good first step toward improving its many problems.
Employment is one dimension, but the environment, economic opportunities, we intend to challenge the very culture of Texaco.
Now, Mr. Jackson is meeting tonight with 50 representatives from across the nation to continue discussions on improving equity at Texaco. And NAACP President Kwesi Mfume says his group is prepared to move ahead with a nationwide coordinated stock divestiture campaign if Texaco does not follow through with the terms of the settlement. Paul and Kathleen.
Madeline Woods reporting from our newsroom.
Tonight, U.S. Air Force officials are admitting to problems with sexual harassment of female recruits. 8 instructors at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas are now being disciplined for incidents occurring over the past 3 years. Air Force officials say 12 female trainees have filed sexual misconduct complaints since 1994. 6 instructors at Lackland were either fined or reduced in rank because of those charges. One received a 1-year jail term. Meanwhile, 4 more Army NCOs have been charged with an improper sexual contact with recruits at Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri.
In Prince George's County tonight, a man already wanted on an arrest warrant was shot by police after hitting an officer with a stolen utility truck. The chase started in the 1500 block of Ritchie Marlboro Road in Largo. That's when police responded to the report of a suspicious person in a stolen car. Well, the suspect ran under the beltway and jumped into a truck. He was shot in the leg after trying to run over one of the officers. Witnesses say the suspect then continued to try to get away.
His eyes was, open real wide. He looked like his face was, flushed and looked very excited and scared and confused.
The suspect underwent surgery at Prince George's Hospital Center tonight. His name has not been released. The officer hit by the truck was treated for arm injuries and then released.
54 people are without homes tonight following a fire at a Fairfax County apartment complex. Authorities say the 2-alarm fire started in a storage room of the building in the 7600 block of Savannah Street in Merrifield. Heavy smoke filled the hallways of the building, forcing some residents out onto their balconies. Several had to be rescued by firefighters. No injuries have been reported. In Arlington, one of the worst tragedies in Northern Virginia history, a family of 4 dead from smoke inhalation. There was not much of a fire at the Park Warren Apartments when firefighters arrived this morning, just heavy smoke and toxic fumes inside the bodies of a family of El Salvadoran immigrants. Marisol Gonzalez was found near the front door clutching her 4-month-old daughter, Carla. Her husband, Carlos Rivera, and their son, Mauricio, were discovered in a bedroom.
Well, tonight, some members of the D.C. School Board say they will continue their fight against a federal takeover. Today, the city's Financial Control Board fired the superintendent and stripped the school board of its powers, forcing some to question the future of home rule in the city. News 7's Kathy Foster Johnson has the latest.
We are convinced that the time for change has come.
And with a unanimous vote, the D.C. Financial Control Board downgraded the school board to an advisory panel and fired Superintendent Franklin Smith.
I don't want to talk about what I could have done, should have done, would have done. I did the best that I could do with what I had available to me.
The control board then announced the appointment of a new board of trustees and the new superintendent, retired General Julius BECTON.
I promise you this. We will be diligent in our effort to create an optimal learning environment.
While the audience here at Luther Place Church appeared supportive, others expressed concern with the overhaul of the school system.
Do any of them look young enough to have a student in school? Why are they in charge?
The control board cited lagging test scores and a rising dropout rate. Not to mention, in recent years, D.C. schools have been plagued with fire code violations, cutbacks, declining enrollment, and increasing violence.
The kids, they want the administrators to listen to them. They just want peace, I guess, in the schools.
As for what lies ahead for the D.C. school system, members of the new Board of Trustees plan to meet over the weekend to discuss just that. Some school board members, on the other hand, say they plan to file a lawsuit, calling the control board's action a crushing blow to democracy. In Northwest Washington, Kathy Foster Johnson, News 7.
The new superintendent, retired General Julius BECTON, has scheduled a news conference for next Tuesday to talk about his plans for the school system.
They're 20-something, called members of the Generation X or X Generation. Is their American dream the same as yours? A special report coming up on News 7.
And find out how a satanic scare has forced Macy's to pull some Christmas decorations from its shelves. But first, we're going to hear from Jeff. Hi, Jeff.
Well, Jeff, the Bullets have a tough hill to climb in Detroit. Coming up is sports. I'll bring you the lowdown from Motown. Coming up, stay with us.
Coming up on Nightline, charges the CIA injected crack cocaine into the black neighborhoods of Los Angeles. The community confronts the director of the Central Intelligence Agency at an unprecedented town meeting tonight.
This seems like a good time to introduce the new, more responsive Volvo 850 GLT. Drive safely.
In an I-Team exclusive, Del Walters takes you where few have ever gone. Inside a place of darkness, where heroin horror stories are born. Inside the Heroin Hotel, after NYPD Blue Tuesday on News 7.
On the next Extra, pampered Hollywood stars.
They make demands like spoiled children.
See what it takes to keep them happy on and off the set. Plus, meet the Chinese master some say is a miracle healer on Extra.
Tonight at 12:05 on Channel 7.
Auntie Anne's Soft Pretzels. County Seat, The Coffee Beanery, Tyrek, KB Toys, Crate and Barrel. Sesame Street General Store. Kids Foot Locker, Candy Heaven, Nordic Track, Tyson's Corner Center, where the stores are.
Put on your dancing shoes and hurry on down to your Buick dealers. Buick quality is a better value than ever. Now with cash back savings up to $3,000. Special low lease rates, savings on 96s, and immediate cash back on brand new 1997 Buicks. It's worth twisting and shouting about. Savings up to $3,000. But get to your Buick dealer before the last dance, cause the savings don't get any better than this.
Just a reminder, this Saturday's Maryland Lotto jackpot has an estimated annuity value of $6 million.
Well, they're the generation that followed us baby boomers, and in the popular culture, they've been referred to as Generation X.
The X designation covers people born between 1965 and 1980, and that's about the only solid consensus that you can come up with. When you talk about this age group, News 7's Sonia Diener joins us live from Adams Morgan. More. Sonia?
Hi, Paul and Kathleen. You know, as we talked about at 5, the X in Generation X equals so many different characteristics and attitudes. And many times, the X also equals somewhat non-traditional views of the American dream and how to achieve it. They're called the most educated, racially diverse, independent, anti-institutional, risk-taking generation to date. But when it comes to concerns for the future, Generation X is not much different than those before it.
Being able to find jobs, being able to have the opportunity to get a good education, being safe from crime, having a clean environment. These are the issues which are important to us.
But unlike previous generations, this group is straying from the traditional path to the American dream. Many lack the company loyalty that was once the glue of the American workforce. Today, U.S. corporations are going global. There's more competition, downsizing, and insecurity.
That's a big part of where the slackerness image comes from, but that's an absolutely appropriate response to the lack of loyalty to their respective employers to them.
You can work 19 years and on that 20th year, you get the pink slip.
Generation Xers may be more flexible in their job goals, but they're also more cynical and not easily convinced of a future with Social Security.
They, in fact, have more savings than any previous generation at that age ever had. More IRAs, 401ks, more are expecting to have to be responsible for creating their own nest egg.
But saving for the future doesn't preclude living for the day.
A lot of my friends are very politically active and politically concerned about gay rights, abortion, the AIDS epidemic, censorship. I'm not concerned enough to actually go and do anything about it because I'm kind of counting on everyone else to take care of me.
Despite the relaxed attitude of some, Professor Kusterer predicts Generation X will make tremendous contributions in science and technology.
These are people who found it no difficulty, found it fun to stay on top of this incredibly rapidly shifting information communications technology and surfed. I mean, that's where that metaphor comes from. I mean, this is a fun thing to do.
Whatever you think of this generation, the bottom line is there is no perfect description, but there are plenty of opinions.
Generation X is not lazy. We're a group that do things. We're going to go somewhere.
Generation X is misrepresented and misinterpreted.
It's a mixture of all different kinds of people.
Generation X is just what it is.
It's hard to keep us down. And baby boomers, I hope you like what you've gotten because you're looking at it.
So there. Paul and Kathleen, I think it's important to note that our discussion on Generation X is primarily focused on middle-income, college-educated people in their mid to late 20s, but the generation includes many more categories, and many people at home may be sitting there thinking, that's not what I'm like, that's not me. I'm more interested in getting by day to day and surviving, not necessarily concentrating on defining my generation. But that's really exactly the point, that Generation X is so diverse, and it's interesting to talk about. Back to you.
Well said, Sonia. Thank you very much. Sonia Dana reporting from Adams Morgan this evening.
Well, a lot of Xers are probably out on the town tonight.
Probably so.
Well, Macy's is having a devil of a time, you might say, this holiday season. The department store chain has come under fire from some customers who were unhappy with a popular Christmas ornament that's been on sale at the store. The decoration features a horned alter ego Santa Claus, which is based on a Polish folktale from the Victorian era. Well, some customers claim it looked satanic, and they complained. And as a result, Macy's pulled the item, even though they say that product sold out over the past 3 years.
Just can't please everybody. Nope.
But you want to if you're in that business.
Yeah, you want to try, don't you? Coming up, Jeff Gilbert will try to give us a warmer weekend forecast.
And if you thought Cleveland's snow was bad, wait till you see what they're dealing with up a bit further north. We'll be right back.
From behind the wheel, you might think of Dodge Caravan as a car. Probably because in some ways it is. Its cab-forward, wheels-to-the-corners design makes it stable and sure-footed, a lot like a car. Its advanced suspension makes it nimble and agile, a lot like a car. With all the utility of a spacious four-door van, all of which suggests we got the name right. Caravan. Just as original as the original.
Get into Montgomery Ward this week and discover our brand of savings. Save big on big brands all over the store. All GE, Maytag, and Whirlpool appliances are on sale. And get free delivery. Top brand names all at great prices. Plus, all furniture is on sale. Brands like Lazy Boy, Bassett, and Simmons all at incredible savings. The biggest brands at our smallest prices. Here at Montgomery Ward, that's our brand of savings.
How can you get warm and comfortable with a heat pump? Try as you might, you can't. So instead of trying to squeeze a little warmth out of your heat pump, save your energy. Get efficient natural gas heat. It keeps you warm no matter how cold it gets. No wonder people prefer natural gas heating systems over heat pumps by 4 to 1. Of course, there's one thing a heat pump is good at: bringing families together. Natural gas, efficient by nature and brought to your home by Washington Gas. Call 703-941-HEAT.
So, Miss Mercedes, the guy who got you the sweet deal on the Mercedes, he's your,
Dealer?
Yeah, but you know him from...
The showroom?
Right, but you met way back when...
I went for a test drive?
The Mercedes C-Class, starting at $30,450 at your Mercedes-Benz dealers.
If I wanted to drive one, I would need...
The keys.
The keys? I would need the keys.
Your Washington Mercedes-Benz dealers. We're with you every mile.
A big night tonight for talk show host Larry King.
He handed the mic over to many of his Hollywood friends like Robert Klein, comedian David Brenner, and a host of locals, all in celebration of the Larry King Cardiac Foundation. The Four Seasons Hotel ballroom was filled to capacity by those supporting King and his efforts to provide funds for individuals who need cardiac surgical procedures. King had heart surgery 9 years ago and has thus taken up the cause.
I have two people in this room tonight who have new hearts because of this foundation. There ain't no bigger thrill.
That says it all, doesn't it?
Sure, I mean, to save a life, what could you do more than that in your life? So, what are you proudest of? Raising a daughter, saving a life.
Congratulations. How's your heart?
Thank you. Pretty good, Paul. As long as you're near me. A Jew and a black, we own the city.
Smooching with Larry King and with Wonder Woman Linda Carter in the previous shot, Paul.
Yeah, a lot of good folks there who support that. And what a great cause. Now, there's a lady, Mrs. Scott from Texas, otherwise would not live, needs a heart and lung transplant, and is going to get it because of this program. So
he's really had the prominence to bring a lot of good attention to the whole issue of
hundreds of thousands
heart
of dollars.
health.
Lots of money raised tonight. Good cause.
Yep.
How's the weekend look?
Good. Now, after seeing that story, I'm happy to be alive and to be able to report that
and all choked up.
We're going to be able to have a great weekend and some pretty decent looking weather in here. Let's take a look at it, starting with Well, actually, starting with some video that came from Minnesota. I want to show you first before we take a look at our own weather, because this will help you appreciate what we're going to have this weekend.
We're in a heat wave here, aren't we?
Compared to this we are. You remember the Cleveland snow last week? Well, now this week it's been ice storms in Wisconsin and Minnesota. Look at that. That's a semi going sideways into a ditch. And then, of course, you had the problem with the accidents and the police responding to them, and they were also piling up in the ditches off the sides of the road. So it was a big mess up there. And they are hopefully beginning to thaw out from that tomorrow as well. 32 degrees. We're cold enough to do a little freezing here in Washington ourselves, but fortunately we don't have a lot of water laying around tonight, so not too much of a problem. Our humidity at 40%. The winds are calm, the barometer's rising, air quality tomorrow expected to be in the good range. The official high and low for the day, 44 and 29. Still well below the average of 59, and there you see a record of 83 set not too far back in 1993. Temperatures around the area this evening are chilly. 32 at National, 22 out at Dulles, 23 up at BWI. And temperatures nationally are very chilly. In fact, in the Central Rockies right now, there's quite a snowstorm developing there, and that will be moving still also into the sections of Minnesota and Wisconsin and give them another shot at wintry weather for tomorrow. And it looks like, fortunately for us, that storm will be passing well to our north. Here in the mid-Atlantic, we'll see maybe some cloudiness on Monday with just a slight chance for some rain, not snow. Current wind chills are not that bad. In fact, the wind last hour calm here in Washington, so we're not dealing with a wind chill. The national satellite picture shows very vividly all the cloudiness in the central part of the country where that next snowstorm is developing. But even right now, most of this is rain. You just have the freezing rain and the snows on the northern side of the storm as it makes its way across the very states that we saw the video from before, Minnesota, now moving into Wisconsin and eventually especially the upper peninsula of Minnesota. Michigan lows tonight, well, mildest here in the east and in the nation's central section. Highs tomorrow will be in the 40s and 50s here in the mid-Atlantic. Look how chilly it will be in the northern Rockies and northern plains. Here's how the forecast goes. We are expecting a very, very slow warm-up. Clear skies tonight and very cold in the meantime. 16 degrees for a low in the suburbs, 26 for a low in the district. And then for tomorrow, not a bad day. Still a bit chilly with sunshine, 44 to 48 for a high. And look at Sunday's forecast. We're going to do that by 10 degrees more, 54 to 58 for a high with more sunshine. As we look at the extended forecast, just a slight chance for a sprinkle on Monday. I think that'll be mainly west of us over in the mountains. And then again on Wednesday, but it is in the form of rain showers and not snow showers. So there you have it.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks very much. Just go on and break out the zinc oxide now.
do it right
Sun's
now.
coming.
Caps, on a roll?
On a roll. Doing it and doing it well. Up next is Sports. The Caps haven't done it yet this season until tonight, that is. I'll explain. Plus, the Bullets and Pistons do battle in the Motor City. And guess who had the high octane working? Hoop highlights are just a shot away.
Once again, experts are predicting an easy winter.
For Jeep Cherokee Sport owners anyway, its 190 horsepower engine, four-wheel drive, and anti-lock brakes turn even the harshest conditions into a day at the beach. And now get no charge air and over $1,800 in option values and cash back. Jeep Cherokee Sport, the perfect way to turn a wild winter into a mild winter.
See your National Capital Area Jeep and Eagle dealer, where you can expect the best.
It's too good to last. Super Saturday at Marlowe Furniture. One day, 14 hours, 10 a.m. till midnight. Pay no money down, no monthly payments, and no interest for 6 months. All the furniture you want most at savings you can't afford to miss. Look for impossible prices throughout the showroom. But you have to hurry because this sale won't last. For one day only, 14 hours, Super Saturday, 10 a.m. to midnight at Marlowe Furniture.
Just what you're looking for. Uptowns, it's just what you're looking for.
The truth about fashion. It's all attitude. There's one rule. No rules. Wear what you love. Friday and Saturday, Upton's 2-day sale starts at 9, plus an extra 10% off till noontime.
Just what you're looking for. Uptowns, that's what you're looking for. Just what you're looking for.
Every year about this time, the folks at Volvo sing this Swedish folk song.
Baby, vi måste gå now. Ja, en fin liten tjej, du väntar på mig. The guy yours here, I got a red. Louis. Oh, Lord, baby, we gotta go now. Na, 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 Louis. We must go.
The Bullets motored to the Motor City, but did the motor run out?
Yeah, it did. See, the offense has yet to get that groove going.
Okay.
They're not smooth enough yet.
They got the parts.
Starters tonight for the Bullets combined for 43 points.
That's not good.
That ain't enough.
No.
That ain't even close. A game of runs tonight in Detroit. The Pistons proving to have a better stride. They outscored the Bullets by 16 points during a stretch and beat them for the second time this week. The Bullets on a 10-0 run in the first half. Tracy Murray misses twice down low, but Big George is there to stop the madness. Bullets up by 2. Sweet drive later by Rod Strickland. He blows by the D and drops the dipsy-do. Washington up 47-44 at halftime. It's all Detroit after the break. Watch Grant Hill break him off a little something. He gets around Juwan Howard. Yeah. Joe Dumars working with radar. He finds the mark from way beyond the arch. This is good. Dumars sharing the wealth as well. The dish to Otis Thorpe in the lane. Thorpe, dunk you very much. 95-84 Pistons the final. Heads up, the Bulls are running. The Stampede going through Charlotte tonight. Dennis Rodman to Michael Jordan. MJ doing it any way you want it tonight. From beyond the arch, you got it. Fade away in the lane, MJ aims to please. And of course, the drive to the rack. Jordan with 38 points in 26 minutes of play. Chicago improves to 9-0, beating Charlotte 110-87.
We got the Wildcats. We got this place with Robert, Montgomery Knight, Rick Pitino, Connecticut, Clemson. This is a great way to start. It should be awesome, baby. I can't wait.
Oh, you bet it is. Dickie V giving us the classic rundown. The first college hoop game of the season. Indiana against UConn. Kevin Freeman with the ballet in the lane. He puts it through. Indiana's Neil Reed taking the long route around the defense. Everyone converges. Reed gives it up to Jason Collier. Bobby Knight is 1-0. Hoosiers beat UConn 68-61. Well, the Capitals aren't butter, but they're on a roll nonetheless. The Caps beat Montreal tonight, and for the first time this season, don't have a losing record. They're 9-9. Nice move by Peter Bondra. The stop and the go. David Wilkie is completely lost. The wrestler from the circle ties the game at 1. Bondra's a little happy. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Kelly Miller applies the philosophy, sticking in his own rebound. 2-1 Caps. Jim Carey is a goalie, not a chef, so there's no soup for Daniel Popovic. Carey had 30 saves on the night. The Caps win it 3-1. Still to come. Bent out of shape in South Bend. I've got the latest on Lou HOLTZ. Plus, the area's #1 team was in action as high school football's second season begins. Highlights are on the way. We'll be right back.
If we all settled for good enough, would things ever be good enough?
The luxurious Chrysler LHS. Now get a lease for just $359 a month. The Chrysler LHS. This goes way beyond good enough.
No service charge. No lines. No traffic. No parking. No dress code. Free home banking from Chevy Chase. It puts your bank as near as your PC or telephone.
Tomorrow at every Macy's, it's Super Saturday. One super day of savings store-wide. Coats and jackets save 30 to 50%, plus take an extra 10% off. Select jewelry 20 to 50%, plus an extra 10% off. Career separates 50% off. All men's London Fog rainwear and outerwear 40% off. Cotton bath towels just $4.99. Super savings throughout the store. Macy's Super Saturday. Tomorrow, plus a preview day today.
What if you could take on a whole new image? Would you be more elegant? More dynamic? More comfortable? One of the world's best performing luxury cars has an almost entirely new identity. The new Q45 from Infiniti. Everything changes, but the soul.
Embarrassment at the Shark shootout for John Daly today. The chip on 16th. Duh! Step aside, big guy. This is how you do it. Scott Hoke on the same hole. It's on the green, rolling, and dropping for the Eagle. Hoke and partner Chip Beck lead the first round at 6 under 66. The Friday night intensity is a little bit higher. It's playoff time in high school football. Top-ranked Seneca Valley opening Maryland 4A play against Meade tonight. The Screaming Eagles bring it right into your living room. Travis Vaughn escapes the rush. The defense pursues, which leaves Lauren Morgan wide open in the end zone. Seneca Valley doing it on the ground and doing it oh so well. Ted Hamilton breaks him off a little something up the middle. He's gone. Touchdown. Seneca Valley wins it 42-12. Herndon against Chantilly, another one between the Meyer brothers. The Chargers making a comeback in this one. Herndon leading 6-0. Maxipian hooks up with Bawaju. Touchdown Chargers. Chantilly comes back and wins it 17-6. Dan beats his brother Tom for the second time this season. News of Lou Holtz's departure is a bit premature. 2 broadcast reports today claimed he was stepping down as head coach at Notre Dame. Well, Holtz won't say anything definite, although he is dissing media reports.
If you wish to report the news, you can report. Lou Holtz, the head football coach at the University of Notre Dame, and has not resigned. If you wish to create the news, you can do anything this world you want. It's a free country. It's your choice.